Major funding for this program was provided by the Annenberg CPB project and by the Ford Foundation. Additional funding was provided by the National Endowment for the Humanities, the Arthur Vining Davis Foundations, and others.
Every night, the lights in Tokyo flicker and flash in a code that everyone understands. Economic power has shifted from the west to the east. And Tokyo is the capital of a new Pacific age. Amidst the pulsing neon lights, this shift looks like a recent change, a new wave. But Asia's march to power and influence began over 120 years ago with one pivotal story. In 1868, a 16-year-old boy became Emperor of Japan. He was called Meiji, and in his name, an isolated island nation became a modern world power. The shock waves would transform the Pacific world. Asia's journey from the rice paddy to the microchip was born of fear. 1 century ago, Asia's choice was clear: modernize or be conquered by the Western powers. Before the Meiji era, in the mid-19th century, the decline of China's magnificent civilization haunted East Asia. Consumed by famine and rebellion from within, China was also attacked from without by British gunboats, forcing open the country to Western trade. Scarcely noticed, except by a few Dutch traders, was a small string of islands called Japan. For 2 centuries, Japan had been locked away from the outside world. By 1615, after a century of civil war, the powerful Lord Tokugawa had defeated his enemies and declared himself shogun, ruler of all Japan. Tokugawa divided society into 4 ranks. At the bottom were the merchants. Then came the artisans. Just above them were the farmers, who gave up half their rice harvest to those at the top, the samurai. Only samurai had the right to carry swords. The law of the land set them apart. The Tokugawa shogunate was a kingdom built for war, but it began to crumble after 200 years of peace.
It was the most orderly place imaginable. It was a completely schematized society where everybody knew who he was and what he had to do. But in fact, because it was so idealized and so orderly and so tidy, history got away from it. The samurai, who were the elite of the Tokugawa system, had not been allowed to raise its swords for 200 years. And in between had become civil servants, their swords rusting, propped up against their desks while they kept the accounts of their lords.
Many of these samurai ceased being able to make a reasonable living, so they went into debt to the merchants. And although the merchants were at the very bottom of the Confucian hierarchy, they began to have more and more power over the samurai who were in their debt.
Merchants, once scorned under the Confucian hierarchy, became more powerful as Japan's barter economy gave way to a new money economy. The hustle of merchants turned the world of the samurai upside down. Japan was a society about to explode. The coming of the West struck the spark. In 1853, 4 American warships steamed up the bay at Uraga, near Edo. Commanded by Commodore Perry, the Americans had come to open up Japan. They wanted water and coal for their whaling ships and China trade. The Japanese were astounded at the power of Perry's vessels. They called them black ships for the ominous smoke that billowed from their coal engines. They sent a clear message. If the Japanese didn't open up their country, Perry would open it by force.